in our regulations as adopted by Parliament in 2012. There are regulations that were adopted by Parliament in 2012 when the guidelines around state funerals were adopted. Guy Scott tabled the matter and was adopted. The former president, are entitled to 7 days. Here, President Lungu will be mourned, I think, in total of more than about 16 days. From Sunday, I think we can count that the 7 days expired. There's another 9 days remaining before we put him to rest on 23rd June 2025. So he'll be mourned beyond the period that has been given in the guidelines. The only person with such powers is a head of state. So you ought to respect his role, and he will play his role. We want to qualify on Sunday. If there are calls to be made, the number is 0973 078082. 0973 078082. This you call us on WhatsApp and let's hear your views. So far, there's been a breakthrough regarding the standoff. The agreement has finally been made by a huge delegation of many people. It started with Honorable Chiwenga, the Vice President of Zimbabwe, who came as a matter of emergency to alert the president. Remember, President Emerson Mnangagwa were classmates with the late president. Patriotic Front and ZANU-PF were sister political parties. Then Zambia and Zimbabwe have had long historical and outstanding economic, political, social, and people-to-people interest. So, Honorable Vice President Chiwenga came and saw the president. We showed you the video. And the president assured that he was going to invest in these talks to break the impasse and allow the late president to be accorded the respect due to him as Zambia's sixth president, and respect that we've always accorded to our late presidents, and that President Lungu will be buried in Zambia. He pledged that. And we saw from the huge delegation that really the president invested in these talks, and we have an outcome and breakthrough. Okay, I have the first caller. Good evening. We are discussing the update regarding the late president's remains. They come to Zambia on Wednesday, 18th June, and the president will be laid to rest on Monday. Introduce yourself and tell us where you're calling us from.
Good evening, Mama. Bombe kabili. Tulete tulanga nchipali ya shimule tuletela. Ishina yandini ne bosunku tuwe kurusaka.
Banemo abombe ni elo mwalosheni. Please proceed with your contributions.
Hicho kana mbasho ndefa afyo kutotela isinki prema updates mle tupera. Iyo kabili na pabuteko na family. Ifyo bafika ku conclusion yakwe bati umubiri waba kateka wala uleta no kuti ulale muchibote. But pasonze pafi achitika. I think there are lessons to learn, and going forward we appeal also to abakalamba nga chakwe bati fyonse file chitika abakalamba bafile wapo nokusta provide guidance mu mistile ya field.
Thank you very much. God bless you. Yes, please. Let's hear from you. What are your views? This has been an emotive period. The national mourning period has been extended to Monday next week. Make your contributions. Hello.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Good evening, Ambassador.
Good evening. Please speak. Yeah, speak loud and make your contribution. Thank you very much. I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm calling you from the Copper Belt. My name's Esau.
Thank you.
I think my question and contribution would be Are we looking at reconciliation between the first family and also the past president? If we are looking at reconciliation, are there initiatives that are being created by the church to make sure that the death of our late president, there's harmony at the end of the day? I think that's my question and my sense of worry. In the long term, are we looking at reconciling? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I've always stated that we have various levels of differences in our country. Let me take as many calls as possible. Let me hear from others before I can proffer my opinion. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Yeah, I'm Susan Karen from Johannesburg. How are you, Honorable?
Ndifye bwino mayo balishani elo mwalosheni.
Emkwai awe twalota Honorable awe ndekwato kumitotela.
Emkwai.
Mwabombo omulimo okalamba ngansha awe mwabalosha ba President Lungu. Twatotela sana pamonga ba PF wema members ya PF kwemisepera twatotela sana na bonse abaishire kuno South Africa. They did a very good job for our former president. We appreciate as Zambian citizens.
Thank you. Thank you, my dear sister. Thank you, my sister.
So today lomba fyaba neso abali kuzambia okubaka loshe bwino pa Wednesday tubalapokelera bakateka besu. He was a superman. We miss him and we appreciate his work.
Yeah. Thank you, my sister. Thank you very much. Yeah, good. The calls are coming in quickly. Let me hear from you. Keep on trying. I already have a lot of missed calls. Just keep on trying.
Number one, that the body of the late President Lungu shall be transported together with the family from Lanseria Airport in South Africa to Zambia on Wednesday, 18th June 2025, using a private charter made available to the...
Sorry, we'll play the video of Honorable Makebi Zulu later. Make your contribution. I want to hear to as many people as possible because this is a great development.
All right, okay, Honorable. I'm in United Kingdom right now.
Okay. And your name?
Unfortunately, I'm Prince.
Okay. Yes, we're Prince. Please make your contributions.
Now, today the affair is on that Takulofo to Ingashangana Kumadiro after to Adisa Sangwako. Actually, we've lost a soldier. I pray that God comfort the family. You know, it's not an easy thing to lose our beloved ones. It's not easy. It's not easy. I know, and it will take time for us to recover from this. So, the paper fine if you are bound if Baba Bala data boat Yavakateka, Fipite Balade Fribaladi Omtende. Now, Natasha Honorable.
Thank you very much, Bani. Thank you. Mukalete fsumuko kumuli ku UK. Yeah, let's take as many calls as possible. I want to hear your views. There's been remarkable progress that has been made by both government and the family, and the remains of the late president are destined to return to Zambia. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Is not connecting. Maybe he's in Zambia. Yeah, please call, participate in this program. Good. Hello, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello, good Good evening, Namafyashi. I would
Good
choose
evening.
to be anonymous.
Yes, Anonymous. Make your contributions quickly.
Okay. I'm calling you from Chikila Bombwe.
Okay.
So first and foremost, we just want to appreciate God for the peace that has finally prevailed. But, in all this is not just a mere coincidence. This should cause us as a nation to enter a period of reflection and deeply start asking ourselves questions. Because in the first place, the whole confusion and the impasse that has taken place wasn't supposed to be there. It should teach us that beyond politics, there is human life. Beyond politics, there is Zambia. Beyond our political differences, we can be political competitors, but it should never get to a point where politics become a field to settle scores or to punish whom we think is against our agenda.
Thank you,
Going
my brother.
on, that
I
is
think
in the past now.
Yeah,
Going
thank you.
forward,
Yes.
there should be a rethinking in terms of the kind of politics that are currently taking place. Because if the trajectory doesn't change, we'll keep on going through cycles over and over again. So we thank God for what has taken place, and we are looking forward to a future where politics will not be used as a ground to punish people, as a ground to torture people, as an avenue to inflict pain to those who we have scores with. All in all, Zambia is bigger than politics. Zambia is bigger than all political parties, all political players. And that should be what should be at the heart of each and every Zambian. So we thank God for what has taken place, and our prayer is that there will be total healing, there will be total peace, there will be total reconciliation. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Someone here is attacking Sampa, Honorable Mao Sampa, Matera MP, that is a cause. No, I need to excuse Honorable Mao Sampa. The two reconciled, and he made great effort that the two reconciled. There's even an agreement before court where government is refusing to, where the courts are refusing to sign an agreement made by two parties, legal parties, where we've resolved our issues. Mao Sampa has done a great job. He reconciled with the late president. He handed over the PF back to him, and there's an agreement to that effect. That was deposited in court. It's been in court 3 months. An agreement, out of court settlement. The judge's role is only to append. He won't append. We'll discuss those politics later. Yeah, thank you. The calls are coming in. Tap. Please just call, and we want to hear your views. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello.
Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling from.
Good evening. My name is Teresa. I'm calling from the UK.
Teresa, please make your contribution.
First of all, thank you so much for coming online again. Thank you so much for coming online, Mr. Mwamba. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to express our feelings. We just want to say to the people back home that we are with you and we are mourning with you. We are following closely to what is happening. But thank you so much even for the conclusion that has come up. I'm really happy for the family. It's the wish that has been granted wasn't easy, but it was granted. But what I can just say is that Balungu did a lot, and his work will follow him. I only hope and pray that we will learn lessons from what has happened. I only hope that this will not happen to other people, but also to learn the importance of apologizing, coming together, feeling for others, and even getting in the shoes of others. If only other people can learn that way, that will be really, really helpful. But otherwise, I just want to say thank you so much for all you're doing. And the family, we are with you. We are praying for you. And I'm also grateful because last time we didn't see any pastors coming along, but we've seen a lot of pastors also coming on board, which is really, really important.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, my
All the
dear
best
sister.
now, and let peace reign indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mwamba.
Thank you. Hello, good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello, Ambassador Mwamba. How are you?
I'm very well, my sister. Introduce yourself and make your contributions.
Yeah, my name is Anik Matipa.
Yes.
And I have been following the debate that was announced today, where the stakeholders have reached a compromise, and I'm glad that they have reached a compromise. Zambia has always been a peaceful country. Zambia has participated in the independence of so many Southern African countries, and I'm elated that at last they are going to give the late President Edgar Chagwalungu a befitted send-off. Now, my appeal, Ambassador Mwamba, is on selective laws. You know, ututu bantutu utwale tukana balungu ukulanda ati balungu balafa nombaline twali batuse mbindi balesungulika. These are people that are known to the state. Bale kalifye abantu. And the state know them. And it's high time the state bundled them and threw them away in prison and locked those cells. Just like akakeneka why me akesa mukutukana Zambia. I remember growing up in Kaunda's days when okutukana bakalamba was never our culture. So I'm appealing to President Hakainde Hichilema to abash and abolish selective laws that apply to different individuals. These to my little boys who belong to UPNB, two of them in particular, have been going around saying nasty things about how they poisoned Lungu, and it's a matter of time. Why are they walking the streets? And the state knows who they are. I rest my case. I thank you once again for taking my call, and I urge the Zambians to build our motto of one Zambia, one nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Anik Matipa from the United States. We've got another caller here. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
My name is Schone Jacob, calling from Namibia.
Mr. Schone from Namibia, make your contribution, my brother.
Program. Thank God. My observation is when the secretary to the cabinet gave his side of the speech or the address, he began by denying allegations that the government had not given passage, to the former president for his medical treatment. Really, I find that off the mark. So on that one, I find it a breach even of the understanding that they had made together with the family. Why could he start with that one when really there are so many other occasions that the passage of the president for medical attention in South Africa was denied? Really, you see, I really find that to be off the mark. And then, please, what would it mean to resign the president? Really, it wasn't so verified. I mean, so it's possible that
Oh, the line from Namibia, Mr. Schon, but Mr. Schon has made it very clear. He has expressed reservations that the Secretary to Cabinet use the opportunity to deny that the late president was not allowed to travel for medical treatment. And Mr. Schone from Namibia is annoyed with that because it's on record. President Lungu, in his interview with VOA, again made it very clear that the state had stopped him. They follow him from jogging. They stopped him from jogging. They follow him when he goes to church, and they haven't allowed him to seek medical treatment. They've prevented him from travel. It's on record. It's not Makebi Zulu saying it. The late president himself had complained about this. And like I said, we have documents. I published those documents on my page where I showed the letter of request from the office of the 6th president to Secretary to Cabinet, and the response from Secretary to Cabinet, Deputy Secretary to Cabinet is the one that responded to the late president and said, we have denied you, we've denied you an opportunity to go and seek medical treatment. And I published those 2 letters on my page. They are verified. When you see it here, the letters are verified. That's why it's Emmanuel Mwamba, verified. Good evening. Please mute your other device. Mute your other device. Mute your other device before you speak, please. I can only hear feedback. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Mr. Mamba.
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening, please. Yes. What are your views? Where are you calling us from?
Anonymous.
Anonymous, please make your contribution. You are live on Emmanuel Mwamba Verified.
Okay, Mr. Mwamba. I've got 2 contributions. I'm requesting the party or anyone to take up the issue of that guy who was saying let's take that guy to court so that he can explain. Is on record how they pose on Mr. Lungu. Then 2, I'm requesting the party to give us the dress code, if it's black or if it's the PF regalia. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll ask Honorable Given Luinda to give that directives. But usually at a funeral where you are going to have various stakeholders, unless a level of tolerance is okay, you can wear your individual party regalia, but it's advisable that you go so that we don't have this unnecessary politicization of the funeral. But I'll seek guidance from the acting president, Honorable Given Luinda. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yeah. Good evening, Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba.
Good evening.
My name is Wallace. I'm calling you from Mkushi.
Mr. Wallace, make your contributions.
Well, quickly, I just wanted to agree with the previous caller, as well as the lady who talked about, those people who were saying Balungu Wakala Sunguru Kafye. Those one of them, those surrogates that Sampa was using when they store PF, partially store PF. You see, what we would want to say is that even though there are youths who were sponsored by UPN in Northwestern Province who said the same, even the president or the current president of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, he kept saying the same. He didn't say it once. Every time that he had an opportunity in public gathering to say, there was one unfortunate incident when I witnessed him saying, Tizambo using a mingalato, Tizamu Wirapamukosi, in apparent reference to the president, Edgar Chagwa Lungu. So, I mean, those cadres are scapegoats. They are scapegoats. President used to say this, including his ministers, every time that they had, it's just sad that we have found ourselves in this quagmire. It's really, really sad. No, thank you so much, Mama. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The offensive remarks by the Secretary of Cabinet denying that the late president, according to them, had government had full knowledge of his passage to South Africa, especially that there was a preceding letter. Then the simple issue that everyone says is that government then must reinstate Paul Kasonde, the manager aviation security at the Zambia National Airport Corporation, because he was fired for allowing the late president to travel to South Africa in January 2025. So then reinstate Paul Kasonde, who was fired for allowing the late president to go. They used a flimsy excuse that they didn't allow President Lungu to be screened, if he had to put up my X-ray, then wabula a metal detector, wambo kupisha, everyone knows that VIPs, president and presidents are never screened like that. Everyone knows that. And even na if forever ichama ambassador tulapusukilamo wala tupisha, what more about former president. Good evening, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I will remain anonymous if it's okay.
That is well. Please make your contributions.
Yes, just on the issue you're touching on, I felt the secretary to the cabinet, I think, didn't need to go and touch on the first issue that he opened his remarks, talking about, I felt in that moment, I was thinking, would Makebi then interrupt the secretary to the cabinet just to clear the air? Because that statement is coupled with just what you've just explained, that we have somebody who has recently been fired for having allowed the late president pass. So was it necessary, especially now when the president just called on Friday for peace? Because that is just like, we are starting somewhere where we really don't want to go. So I didn't like that the secretary to the cabinet had to come that, especially when we are talking about reconciliation. And this was like, a breather for everybody that finally there's a deal. So can we be, and I think he has done fantastic and he should continue maintaining his stance. I think we have seen that the secretary to the cabinet has really done a fantastic job, or at least his personality looks like a very peaceful man. So maybe he should avoid such statements given an opportunity, the way situations are. Another thing that I would like to highlight on, there are some callers who have touched on those guys that we're talking about, Bindi. I'm thinking, we have heard from Makebi Zulu saying the body will lie in state in Chifwema at his house, at the late president's house.
Yes.
They're insisting that they must return the body, and the body must be accompanied by his personal doctor and the security man and the family person as well. That Bamwamba is quite heavy. That is quite heavy. Whether we like it or not, we cannot ignore that fact that here we have trust issues.
Yeah.
So how can we get closure? I mean, government should be ready to be responding to that question. Or even Secretary to the Cabinet. What do you make of the Lungu family insisting that, his remains, as they head to Mulungush Conference Center, there should be people from, that says a lot, right? That is quite damaging. So I really hope that they don't sugarcoat on these guys who had been saying Walungu to Aliba Pisembini, because everybody was just going to speculate. So I hope that we can learn. There's a lot that was said today, but then one can also follow up with a lot of questions. And I also like another caller who asked you, how do the supporters of the Patriotic Front come to mourn? I think, like you have put it, kindly speak with given Lurinda, that they should stop the supporters of the PF to come into this regalia, so that we can just, you people, preach peace the way you would like your president to be mourned, and that he should be laid to rest in a very peaceful manner, because you really do not want suddenly somebody's going to wear your regalia and then it will be right? So how can you avoid that? I think you can avoid that by telling your supporters to say, okay, let's mourn at the Secretariat. We have our regalia until the 23rd. Then no regalia should be allowed. That was just my contribution. And I think you'll be doing a fantastic job. Just try to lead by peace and let others mess up. But I think it's important that you watch out for some eventualities that we really don't want to see on Tuesday.
Wonderful contribution.
And really, indeed, like everybody else, Bamwamba, you've done a fantastic job. As you have warned, you've maintained, and you've given people an opportunity to express themselves. So good job, well done to you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, tatwala alapo twaliwa mu shift ya 7 days. Namenzo na yafimba. Ukwewa fiati, we say our side of the story, and that, with the heavy propaganda, that at least our people must be informed of our side of the story. We don't have many channels, so I thought I could use my platform to at least communicate some facts, away from the heavy propaganda that has been issued. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from, and make your contributions.
Good evening, Ambassador Mwamba. This is Mrs. Mazimba from the car wash. I'm calling you from the USA.
Mkwai mayo badishani. Ababa mayo banazimba n'abalume babo bawuson to you callers. These are very special people. Remember when I was beaten and, literally tortured at the car wash? This is the car wash I was at on Mosotunya Road after Woodlands. But they are currently visiting their family in the United States. Mayo, iyo landeni po.
Endita. For me to express myself very well, yeah. So that the government so that we can bury our president with dignity. That one is very important. But to Alungu, he was a very good man. Me, I used to interact him one-on-one, with him one-on-one. And he was a man who was down to earth. Tabakwetama problems na abantu. Nicha abantu walanda tumuntu tapuiririka, but that man, I was sure. That's why na tulira ba ambassador na tulosha. Atukwate mpia na tupupuka inoshitanga tulina kuzambia uko. Aho tuwatemwa sana. Then tuchama Americo, tuchama Americo. Prefa ukutuchita su tubantu. Because ilala kwetita iwe mesano eyo tulanda lili. Prefer kutusambisha so that tuishi betuambie kutina. Because shirenso sero shibi sana. Emkwa efana tafa afya kulanda kwefufina.
Yo Natasha sana. Thank you very much. No, Uson Kapembwa Mazimba and his wife are very special to me. I could trust my car at the car wash, even if I have an urgent matter, at our level where there are all these threats against our lives. I was only comfortable at their car wash. Even if I left my car, I knew it would be well. And when the police, got me there, beat me, tortured me, it was at the car wash. And they were threatened, their workers were threatened. But we thank God. We thank God for their life. And they love President Lungu. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Please make your contributions. The cause are so many. We want to give as many people as possible, but you have the platform. Make your contributions.
I'm calling you from South Africa, Mr. Ambassador. How are you?
I'm well. The Lord is keeping us, other than this morning period, but the Lord has been very gracious.
Yes, this is my contribution. I'm sure President Hakainde Hichilema was the Mr. Lungu passed on. Am I right?
Speak again. I didn't hear you.
I'm saying the president was the first person to be told that Mr. Lungu has passed on in South Africa. Am I right?
It should be. It should be. From my experience, that's what should have happened.
Where the mistake started there. That's where everything went wrong there. The president was supposed to take that opportunity to bring those people that he sent to South Africa, Mr. Kabendere and the other elder people, he sent them to South Africa to talk to the family before all what has happened there.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think your point is very
now
clear.
People are mourning divided. Imagine UPND people are mourning at the state lodge. They are wearing their regalia. PF people are mourning at the PF secretariat. They are wearing their own regalia. It doesn't make sense, Mr. Mwamba. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, my brother. Thank you very much. No, we discussed this matter during the recent broadcast where we said, look, it took the president 7 days to speak, 7 days. He had made a small posting on his Facebook page 3 days later on Sunday. And there was no direction given the entire time. I think that was the concern of even the other caller, that the president missed the opportunity. We discussed this matter extensively, I think, the other day. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and what your views are.
Good evening, Ambassador.
Good evening.
This is I'm calling you from Johannesburg, South Africa.
Thank you. It's like the whole South Africa is listening. I'm glad. Make your contribution, my brother.
Okay. To start with, we just want to congratulate the team, both the family and the government, for this successful mission. It was not an easy thing, but they did it, so we are grateful to all the stakeholders that were involved. Like, this is really the spirit of Zambia. Yeah. Secondly, Mr. Mwamba, I just want to mention to say this that has happened will forever turn or have an influence on our politics.
Correct.
As a politician, as a believer, as a Christian, you know that this has an influence and a bearing on our politics. Our politics is not only violent, but now people take calculated steps in ensuring that those opponents that they deem a threat, they'll have ways and systems of dealing with them. I'm trying to use wisdom.
Yeah.
On the issue of vulgar language and the demeaning of the former head of state, this did not just begin with his cadres. We would see the president go to public rallies and carelessly use certain statements, like the previous caller said, where he said, "Uyuzi mingalato, tisamukata pamukos," things like that. And unfortunately, our president has a history of using vulgar language. It is not just begin when he's president. This began even before he was president. It's unfortunate that we cannot even call him to this, and this thing has continued. You know, we all know that even after this, people for their sentiments during this will be punished, but the justice will be selective. This Mwamba, this whatever America that we're talking about, none of them is going to be arrested for these things that they're saying.
Yeah.
But the others that are in the opposition that were quoted saying things that did not please the government will surely be arrested.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's the course that our politics is taking. It's no longer a tolerant Zambia like we have been. We're no longer that kind of a nation where we are forgiving, understanding, and we could, democracy would prevail. It's no longer that kind of a country. It's sad and it's unfortunate. And I think we need to pray for our nation. Thank you so much. That was my contribution. Thank you for this platform.
Thank you very much. This matter, I have avoided to speak to it, but let me draw strength from the guidance that was given by the Zambia Conference of Catholic Bishops in 2023, where they appealed to the president, first, number one, that the rogue pages that are associated with him and with UPND, they are so rogue. People have no room or anywhere to go for respite, for relief, or for correction. They said, Mr. President, you are head of state now. Causeway page is under you. Your boys and others run this page. Close it. You don't need guerrilla media now. You are head of state. Maybe it was useful for you when you were in opposition. But look at the praise singers like Frank. Frank, my dear brother, Fimbo Poke, he used to use derogatory language against the late president. Kafaza, Kashani, very demeaning. And then he after those insults, you'll be warmed, welcomed by the president, celebrated by the president. It sent messages that the president, in fact, rewarded people that were insulting his critics, were insulting the late president, even promoted them. Because as we hear now, they even got contracts. And like I'm saying, for me, I'm drawing strength from the Zambia Conference of Catholic Bishops that advise the president, Mr. President, let's have clean politics. And they can be done without you guiding. The other day I said, Mr. President, we are mourning. You've declared these days of national mourning. You've called for peace, unity. You've said let's tolerate that the UPND and PF should mourn. But you should see the insults that have come out during this period, directed at us, directed at Makebi Zulu, the family, even the First Lady and Tasila and Chieso and others, that is, we've not been spared. If you look at the insults coming from, many of them even have a portrait of President Lungu or President Hakainde Hichilema, meaning they are praise singers that are in support of the president, and they're hurling insults at these people that are mourning. What kind of indecency is that? What kind of politics are we practicing? Can we do things proper? The selective nature of applying the law. Those boys from Northwestern Province, he even introduces himself. Then he proceeds to insult the late president. He proceeds to even issue threats. He proceeds that he's taking it upon himself to take the life of the president. These boys that were previously PF are now working for UPND. Again, because they'll take a picture with Jack Mwimbu. Then the following day they are saying, Twalimutu Sembindi, Takapusuke. So who sent you? Is it Jack Mwimbu you've just gotten a picture with? How should we interpret that? These matters are very, very serious. And like I've always, like I stated the other day, we are mourning, Mr. President. It's our time to lock up the dogs. Nangupaisa veni panganda. Imbwashes those bobos and bulldogs. Tulashilokinga. Yes, there could be time for you to unleash the dogs, but this is not the time. So you cannot appear clean here, preaching peace, preaching unity, preaching tolerance and diversity, calling for all of us to be united. But Panshi, Wakoswe, your newspapers, your praise singers are hurling the worst insults. And if you go to what they are saying, for 7 days, we've moved on. They're even mocking. The leadership is just not what you are saying. Leadership is how you practice it. I said the other day that why should we have 2 mourning places? Secretariat for the PF and Belvedere Lodge. Why should we? What would it take if the president said, Batuke Menda, my Secretary General, call Nakachinda and Given Lubina, come and sit, let's see, resolve. Our followers follow what we say and do. If we take a hardline stance, our followers take a hardline stance. And for me, who was operated at that high level, because when we meet these leaders at Intercontinental or Pamos, yet our supporters are fighting. Our supporters are insulting. If we are cordial, we even hug each other. And if our supporters saw that, they'll be very shocked. So, Mr. President, it's just a few days remaining. Help bring our country together. Help provide leadership for us. Cage the dogs for now. Let us mourn the late president well. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Hello, please mute your other device. Yeah. Thank you very much. Today we are overwhelmed by phone calls. I want you to speak. I always speak, but I want you to speak. So let's hear from you.
Besides being president, we were students together. We are former students together at law school. So he's really my college mate. So there's a lot of history between me and him and several other Zambian leaders, because I had all my education, my university in Zambia. And at law school, we were together. Of course, he was junior, I was senior. Well, we have lost one of our illustrious leaders in the region. He was committed not only to provide leadership to the people of the Republic of Zambia, but to the rest of the region. He was one of us. He was a man who had foresight for the development and collaboration between SADC countries. We work together very, very well. So it's a big loss to all of us in the leadership.
Hello, my brother. Please mute the other device. Let's hear your views. Who's calling and where you're calling us from?
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Mwamba.
Thank you. Who's calling and where you're calling? Okay.
Yes, I'm calling you from German.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to contribute, and I also contribute in Bemba so that I can, yeah.
That's okay.
I just want to talk on the view on the I just want to talk on the issue yaba president abantu baleshita compete kwebati president Lungu balikete Hakainde Hichilema before. But sometimes it makes us so surprised that people are comparing Hakainde Hichilema with President Lungu. Lungu is the former state, is our president. He was a president. But that time, all those things were, Hakainde was arrested and all that, he was not in power. We'll just say he was just former like Tayari. What he did was wrong. And I know that what he did that time, if it was in Europe or America, he could have been in jail even now. So this thing of comparing the cadres insulting our president and the President HH is not doing anything, it's very wrong. And this, the other statement I want to talk about is about the regalia. There is no way we can mourn our president without regalia. That one, no. We want peace, yes, but the regalia, people should be free to mourn. We have to mourn our president. He was our president. And people should stop comparing Hakainde and our president that, Hakainde was arrested before. That's why they are doing all this, insulting him and all that. No, that is very wrong. Thank you so much, Mr. Mwan.
Thank you. Thank you, my dear sister. Yeah, let's take as many calls as possible.
Ufishe ukonde
please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
My name is Jerry, calling you from Zambia.
Yes, please make your contribution.
First is thank you for the updates that we have been receiving.
Thank you.
I've been a very keen follower every evening, every time, and it is very rich, and we share the message to our fellow friends and families. My contribution on the clarification, is the president going to speak on the funeral or what? I think I'm not really clear because it wasn't clear on that one. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that was one of the negotiations. For example, the family wanted the body to go to the Copperbelt and to Petauke. Remember, both President Levi Mwanawasa's body and Dr. Kenneth Kaunda's bodies were taken around the country, at least at provincial centers. So that request was not unique. As LAS, the Law Association of Zambia, advised and pleaded with the family that, President Hakainde Hichilema should be allowed to superintend during the funeral, and he's going to. Whether he would choose to speak, that's another matter. I would, for me, I would allow him to speak. Let him use this opportunity to unite all of us. He's probably even heard the concerns, how deep-seated the concerns by the late president and the family are. Nganine bonga kukuisa fena salomba no bwelelo. Jene mwe bantu bakwalesa na wene bakateka batushire na lombo bwelelo. Maybe in our politics, sometimes we do wrong things. I like giving background and insights. When Dr. Frederick Chiluba became president, it didn't take long. They put through, someone found a document where Dr. Kaunda renounced his citizenship in 1972, almost 8 years after he had become president. That's when he renounced his citizenship as a Malawian citizenship, because the law in Malawi required that if you are born of Malawian parents and you do not want to reclaim the citizenship, I think the laws in Zambia are also similar, and you're outside Malawi, you can renounce that. So that innocent letter was found, and someone went to the Ndola High Court and said this man was not Zambian. And the court ruled that he was stateless. And there was outrage from within Zambia and outside Zambia that Wanyama politics state yafikoko. This man was your head of state for 27 years. Today you want to use the courts and declare him stateless. And 10 years later, President Frederick Chiluba, his former president, one of the people that led the campaign to have him arrested and locked up, if you look at the history, was Dr. Kaunda. Is it because of what Dr. Kaunda did to him, what Dr. Chiluba did, searched him, only found books in his library and, tried to declare him stateless? Could it be the reason? People forgot that the first person to lock up Dr. Chiluba was Dr. Kaunda. In 1980, he was locked up 1980-81 for suspected treason case. And people were not aware that Dr. Chiluba, when he was ZCTU president in 1980, he was locked up with Chitalu Sampa and New State Zimba. So I think for me, these lessons teach us that to what extent do we begrudge one another? So bushainenga nasaba president inanga Emmanuel Mwamba. Mfwire na ibukisha ati Hakainde ine bali nguma bafumyane lino pali bale bamazimba na chiraye bapakawash. Or I should say the path of development for our country is at stake. Can I focus on helping develop the country? Earlier in the debate, someone talked about that this country needs reconciliation and a serious period of reflection, because we have these deep-seated differences, especially these regional politics that are emerging. This is of worry. You are now threatening the health of the state. And who should be in the forefront of providing leadership? That whatever Hakainde Hichilema should apologize. But I'm praising as well, but did Edgar Lungu apologize? Is Edgar Lungu here today? But President Hakainde Hichilema has an opportunity. Feel to learn that whatever I did wrong to you, I seek forgiveness. Ubuntu. That's what Christianity teaches us. The extent to which political leaders influence the health of our country is very expansive. If you practice tribal politics, regional politics, politics of bitterness, politics of hatred, it will reflect in the country. Your institutions will respond like that. And they will treat your political opponents quite well. You know, we received information. We are not supporting what this boy Waimi has been saying or insulting. Just like Ababa Ichewe na Chama America na Victor Kapungwe at Mr. Ground. That should never be, or the people that were calling on president to circumcise the late president. That should never be in our political discourse. What Waimi does, Abena Chama America or those youths from Northwestern Province should not be on our discourse. But I heard verified information that Waimi was abducted from Zimbabwe, brought here illegally, and he may have died in police custody. He may have lost his life in custody, because of the injuries meted on him for torture. And the UPND kept on writing, good riddance, good riddance. Imwe, umweo wa muntu. Do I have a right to take away the life of Chama America because he's insulting? No, you do not. Life is sacred. And I hope that after the funeral, we should pursue cases like that. Ensure that the police respond to the emerging facts. Is he well? Did he lose his life? On whose hands were his life lost? Take a cue from Kenya. Someone was insulting President Uhuru Kenyatta, and some policeman took it upon himself, beat him and locked him up, and the young man died in police custody just last week. What has happened? The president was the one in the forefront of calling for justice, and that police officer now is facing murder charges. That is how you demonstrate leadership. Tetuikale pamulu uleva ati let's have peace, let's have unity, let's practice politics of decency. Yet you've unleashed all the dogs down you. Wawakwati, like a duck. Ichibata. Manwana ichibata fe chawa. Nana chimini na pamenj. It's very calm and it's heavy and big. And it has balanced very calmly. What is happening underneath is it's paddling fiercely to keep that composure that you see on the surface. Mr. President, you can't keep that composure on the surface when you're unleashing dogs underneath. It's important that peace is not only preached, but it is practiced. Mubantu Wakwalisa, we have a lot of calls. Let us begin to wind up. It's Sunday. Let's allow people to prepare for tomorrow. And so I'll take the last 5 phone calls. If you have any contributions to make, please call and make your contributions. Someone is saying, we love this country and these are the sacrifices we make. It's a period and it will pass, but the Lord will strengthen us. We have a country to rescue. We have a country to keep at peace. And we have a duty as leaders to contribute in any way that we can. many people are very sensitive about the issue of the party regalia. Ambassador, allow our people to wear our party regalia. Someone suggested that maybe at the party secretariat we can, maybe at the residence of the late president we can, but should we go to, for example, the showgrounds with party regalia? I think I'll leave it to the leadership. I don't want to give guidance at the top of it. There's a leadership that is at home, that is testing the ground, that is looking at the sensitivity of this issue. Our people are proud to identify themselves as PF, and I agree. But let us also be responsive to the current atmosphere in our country. Bushaba PF ngaba kube ovedia kutiba baleka pankuda tule mwana wa UPND na mwana wa foreign ftenge na wakwaya nenyimbo shabo. So we just have to be very sensitive about that. I'll ask the leadership back home. Hello, good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Bamwamba is Anne Ilunga from UK, Birmingham.
Annie Ilunga, please make your contribution.
Mwachule ni mwemfumu, tuachulila pamo.
Mkwai na imumu aloshe ni.
Mkwai, na shapa fokweba tufuile pia kusambilisha abantu, mulebomba, mbasambilisha nabanati. History is repeating itself.
Yeah.
Batata bakaunda, bali batampishe kuchilo cha bakapwepwe.
Mkwai.
Bali batampishe, nemboko shibatwele, bato babaiposa. Tabaletele fyongo, ko bashikile bakapwepwe, bakaunda tabaliko. So, bamayo bana lumango, batupa patile fye kuchalo, atifwe bangashi abalungu n'abana n'abepwa. Twatotele fiba unkwika, umwana kashi, eusunga abana. Bana lumango, bayechika present bakainde. No mutende pachalo, wala wapo. Twatotela, kwe bana babalungu, na imo mwabombe ntwachulila pamo. Ni history.
Thank you very much. Thank you. The case of Simon Mwonsaka Popo and Dr. David Kaunda is a rich history of friendship. You know, they came from the same hometown, the revolutionary town of Chinsali. They grew up together. Their families were friends. They came as leaders to help emancipate our country. Along the way, you know, friendship was lost. Dr. Kaunda was the one that was the torchbearer and became president in 1964. He didn't appoint his friend as vice president, even when many people regarded him as actually the alternative leader to Dr. Kaunda. He appointed him minister of local government. So through the process of politics 4 years later, because the party said the vice president of the party is the vice president of the republic. So in 1968, at the party conference, Simon Mwonsaka Popo staked in. The leadership of Dr. Kaunda fronted, I think, Chitandika Kamanga, and the competition was not fierce. Look, this was a very strong political leader in Simon Mwonsaka Popo, and he swept the election together with his people. And by virtue of that, he became Republican vice president. Then everything went south. By 1970, you know, he was hounded out of the position, and you know, he formed his own party, UPP. He stood in Mufulira. There was so much violence. He didn't even bother to go to Mufulira, but he won that election and returned to parliament. By 1973, Dr. Kaunda declared Zambia as a one-party state, and all parties, ANC, UPP, Nalumino Mundia's party, were all swallowed up under UNIP. And there was a hiatus and reconciliation that never was. And when at the 1977-78 party conference for UNIP began, Kapwepwe again threw in the hat that was going to challenge Dr. Kaunda. He was banned, he was barred, and some low party cadres beat him up mercilessly in Kamwala. And by 1980, you know, he fell sick and died in Kalulushi. So there was anger. These were close friends who then, the relationships were just breached by the type of politics that were practiced. And as the woman has recounted, although he was given a state funeral because he was former vice president, although he was honored in death, the supporters did not allow that hypocrisy to exist, where, like she's narrating, that they rejected even the casket that was produced. I love history. It makes us learn. And when we do these things, sometimes we forget that this has happened before. So why are we not learning from history? And that's why I'm responding to that caller who said, isn't it time that, for example, President Hakainde Hichilema told these people that are insulting the late president's family, two's down for now, two's down. Hello, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Hello, you are live. I can hear you. I can just hear your background.
Hello, Ane.
Yes, please make your contribution. To let me umfwa.
Yes. Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba. Ninete matema.
Emkwa ibanye.
Pa Birmingham pano UK.
Endita.
Awa maoma chikuwa mule ndana putini na bonomba. Ineni nkwata ukulolesha kuntanshi pano mayaifi.
Emkwai.
Bane ibintu muchitoko kambale mutashi. Mweba lechitango ni mu opposition.
Emkwai.
Milimo mubomba ikalamba sana. Nomba, uno twice ikala fwebamu. Tumonekanga kwa tita tulibe na Zambia. Lero tulibe na Zambia. Ero nevi chitika fyonse tulakonka sana. Necho twaichile mkusambia kuno tuwaile etapete gamendi ya tutile sponsor.
Yeah.
Kuli chintu chimocho ndefu ayo kuti atuingateke emitwe pamo. Bonse fye mapati kubika pofena wa UPND ya wale tuteka. Na aliza sange chintu chikatuikatanya. Ine nchito kuti la synergistic thinking teams.
Yeah.
Kuti tuwababa paonia mwiso ndefe lyonse bane. Ukwisa afunyapo ichi chintu cha opposition party politics nokuleta po synergistic thinking teams. Icho chintunga mwachikonka sana kuti na imwe ifyo muchita kuti mwaisa ibunganya pamo. Naisa chirondolola bwino sana chikatwafwa.
Vane iyo synergistic thinking tabakamye bati mulefa kuleta one party state.
Teo.
Okay.
Kufunyapo ichi aba divisive no kwamba okuchitachira abantu baranda polionze yu tukala chita checks and balances de kuti muchita ama checks and balances muri kunse elinga.
Okay.
Mufuyire muri pamo na bale teka no kuyakanya mwamo feeling bule muntu amoneka okulabwa batira Charles Chanda. Uli uchitefya ama emerald. Abalinga fira ko mupera kira chini mumona bomba mu bwino. Mwachumvwa echala tungululamo
the system bane iyo
wenvu mwachenjera twakubika mucho wachenjeramo te wanu pate lero ma thinking teams ayale bombera pamo nga tonse alliance fira bambire nombo kubika ko kumona bana balabe ne ba UPNDM bali muri jira chirendera nda
MKI no, that's similar to what China. Yeah, that's similar to what China is proposing. Is rude. Is rude by consensus. It's democratic, but it's internal democratic process.
Banemuka njite tukese chita chintu ichi. Imano mwamba uli mwaume kankutashi mbale nkutashi.
MKI.
Chisma nalale kera vyaba pene kumulando kutira uli nefingi na bengi abakulanda nabo. Chisma emfumu.
Yo, we can discuss this after the funeral, my brother. Because this is a place of ideas. Yo, Natasha Sanalesa Mipale. Thank you. Batematema from Birmingham, thank you very much for that contribution. He's right. Democracy sometimes polarizes. The political parties, main and opposition, polarizes. How do you cure the polarization, the hostility, and the bitterness that emerges, even threatening nationalhood, threatening statehood and the health of the state? Africa had its own governance system, which was thrown away and abandoned. A king kumitundusha kwate mfumu. A king doesn't rule on his own. Badi kwata wakavilo. Badi kwata maindunas. The king rules by consensus, not his view. By the time the king's decree is becoming a decree, it is consultative process. And where we even have a federated structure, like sub-counts, sub chiefdoms, other than the Chitimkulu, properly federated, but again, properly consultative. That is a good governance system, which colonial authorities made us abandon. We adopted liberal democracies, competition, multi-party or dominant political parties, and look where it's taking us. Our multi-party state between 1964 and 1973 was abandoned. A healthy, beautiful process was abandoned. Why? They used the excuse of violence between UNIP, UPP, and ANC as a reason to go one-party state. Here is a fresh contribution. I'd like to look at that. Yeah, please make your calls. Make your calls so that they are coming as missed calls, but let's just keep on calling. I think you will go through.
In origin. Besides being president, we were students together. We are former students together at law school. So he's really my college mate. So there's a lot of history between me and him and several other Zambian leaders, because I had all my education, my university in Zambia. And at law school, we were together. Of course, he was junior, I was senior. Well, we have lost one of our illustrious leaders in the region. He was committed not only to provide leadership to the people of the Republic of Zambia, but to the rest of the region. He was one of us. He was a man who had foresight for the development and collaboration between SADC countries. We worked together very, very well. So it's a big loss to all of us in the leadership in our region.
Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Ambassador Aston.
Yes, please make your...
From Chilabombe.
Okay, but Chilabombe, make your contributions.
Well, first thing, Ambassador, is that don't get overwhelmed with the praises that we are giving you. The fact that this is the only verified, indeed. It's verified because, yes, it's verified. We are sending this to our families to say, Emmanuel Mwamba verified is now, just to get, the updates. But thank you so very much. I want to agree, mine is a short one, and that I want to agree with a few callers who have spoken the fact that, you see, all this that we are going through, the back starts and stops, begins and stops at the heads of state. And that the ambassador, it's very clear on what we have done, on what, the blogs, those rogues that we are talking about, the State House rogues, and some of the comments that we have had. We saw a very, very unfortunate comment where one of the place singers was saying, no, it's not President Hakainde who is holding on to the skeleton, in apparent reference to President Edgar. That's very, very unfortunate. We have seen some of the things that have actually been put online and they have gone viral, and some of the utterances. But one thing that we have to say very, very clear is that, the president must know that we know that this is all supported by him. And if he really means reconciliation, he must stop Koswe. He must stop Kalemba. He must stop these people from commenting derogatory, the Simon Mwewas, the issues. Now the Dayad is recruited. So those are the things. But my contribution was that the president must know that we know if he really means reconciliation, He can't come to reconcile when Koswe tells us this. He reconcile when the Koswe tells the bereaved family, in a particular issues. So thank you so very much.
Thank you, Bachila Bombwe. Thank you, Bani. Thank you. Hello, good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Bamwamba, I beg you to forgive me for calling for the second time.
No, that's okay. It means you are following.
Yes, I am following to the team. Mama Matipa here.
Yes.
Bamwamba, one of the requests that the family of the former president, Edgar Lungu, made was to take his body to the Copper Belt because that's where he grew up and went to school, as well as to Jipata. And this request was declined. Now, Bamwamba, if my memory serves me correct, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think Zambia had a president that was flown all over the country when he died at one time. Am I correct?
Yeah.
So I would like to find out from the Republic of Zambia, why was this request denied? Would you have any idea why this request was denied?
Thank you.
For political?
Thank you, Anik. Let me answer that quickly. Yeah. No, remember, we want to resolve the issue. The late president has passed on, and the country needs to mourn him and put him to rest. And so it would be selfish by all of us to ensure that all the demands are met. That's why we bother to give you the history. That, for example, Levi Mwanawasa put it in his own will, that he wants to lie at his farm in Palavana. Dr. Kaunda said I should lie next to Betty Kaunda. And wherever he gave interviews about his life, he did that. But state interest came in, and President Mwanawasa lies at Embassy Park. So does Dr. Kaunda lie at Embassy Park without his spouse, as they both wished. This is clearly might look cruel, but state national interests have to be balanced with family interest. I've always stated that. And that is a reason we should have a law to regulate this. I gave the case of Tanzania, where the place to remember the presidents, or even Zimbabwe, let's go to Zimbabwe, it's a good case. It was a motive. There just happened a leadership change. President Emerson Mnangagwa was a new president, and the long-standing president, Robert Mugabe, had just passed on. The new president was Emerson Mnangagwa, and there was this rift between the family. The family said, our president will not even lie here at the Heroes Square. They took his remains to a remote village. But I think if I follow up quickly, the remains of the late president must have now been brought to Heroes Square and is properly been buried, but I'll verify that. But the point is, the hostility then occurring forced the family, said no, his wishes were that he should lie in the village. The lessons from all this is that we need to sit down and do a law to learn from this, because what we did to the remains of the late President Mwanawasa and Dr. Kaunda is we violated their wishes, we violated their will, where President Kaunda wanted to lie next to Betty, and where President Mwanawasa wanted to lie at his farm. We violated them. Like I said, why can't we do, for example, what Tanzania has done, where they'll say the president may lie where the family wishes, but for commemorative purposes, here is where we'll put the tombstone. Let me give you an example. The cenotaph, you've seen that long pillar at Cabinet Office. There's a kwaba kwatinka roundabout. Uku left kwaba Embassy Park, right kwaba Cabinet Office. There's a cenotaph there. That's where we commemorate our people that died in the wars, World War I and World War II. Is there a body lying there? But every year, 11th November, we wear those poppy flowers and we go and remember our people that died in World War I and World War II. At the cenotaph, there is no single body that lie there. So if it's recognition memorials, you can put up structures like that. For example, Embassy Park may not necessarily host a body, because in the next 30 years, you're going to have so many presidents. So, but if we do, for example, the way we've done with the cenotaph, we say Embassy Park is a place where we remember our heads of states. If there are wrangles like this, you yield to the wrangles. But if the law is there and has provided for what needs to be done, you resolve it. So I thought I could just spend some few minutes that the cause of all this confusion is just lack of a proper law on state funerals and how to deal with state funerals. I think, let me say my goodbyes. We are past the hour and we got as many calls as possible. The missed calls, I regret, we can take them later. I'll play the last two videos like we always do of what Secretary to Cabinet said and what Makebi Zulu said, and we begin this morning period. We expect the body to arrive on Wednesday. Let us mourn the late president in peace. Oh my, this man is insisting, please take my call. Okay. Hope you... My brother, what is burning? I've closed. Please make your contributions quickly. Yes. Please introduce yourself and tell us. Tachoma mulibwanji na imwe.
This is Resti in Zambia, calling you from Siavonga.
Yes, my brother from Siavonga. Make your contributions. You are our last caller.
Yeah, obviously, my child wants to but I think the last point just to say we need to again the constitution, because those things are regulated in the constitution. So I think what is the main point here? So as for now, we cannot do anything because it is in the constitution.
It's not in the constitution. I think that's what we've been belaboring. And that's what Laz said. Familiarize yourself with what the Law Association of Zambia said, my brother. Thank you very much. I'll cut him. He's saying these things are in the constitution. But this is what we've been saying. The confusion is we don't have a law to regulate state funerals. And even the provisions of former presidents and the welfare, there's a thin law called Former Presidents Benefits Act of 1993. And it's very bare. It just speaks about the welfare of the former president when he's alive, that they'll build him a house, they'll give him some pensions and benefits, he's entitled to a holiday, medical treatment. They are bare. When they die, there's nothing that speaks to that. On state funerals, we don't have a law. What we have are just mere regulations, endorsements, and relying on precedents. How did we deal with Dr. Kaunda? How did we deal with Wamwanawasa? How did we deal with Wachiluba? But what we are saying, like the Law Association of Zambia said, we need a law. So I want to Aqualis, as I say, remain peaceful. I think let's have constructive dialogue. The poisonous debate, the insults are totally not necessary during this period. And I hope that we'll maintain dialogue that's Zambian, dialogue that's friendly, dialogue that builds our country, dialogue that builds our peace and national security. God bless you. Good night, and we'll see you probably tomorrow. God bless you.
Fellow countrymen and women, it is with heavy hearts, yet with profound respect, that we address the nation today. We wish to confirm that the arrangements for the repatriation and burial of our late sixth president, His Excellency Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, who passed away on June 5, 2025, at Mediclinic Mediforum Hospital in Pretoria, Republic of South Africa, have been concluded. I wish to put it on record that the government of the Republic of Zambia officially granted passage for the sixth president to come to South Africa for treatment. Professor Njovu, the official doctor of the late president, wrote to me as Secretary to Cabinet, informing us of the planned travel. I responded, Professor Njovu, that as a citizen of Zambia, any citizen traveling out of the country, the government of the Republic of Zambia provides support as long as treatment is outside the country. And I offered that we get Dr. Njovu and our Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary to discuss so that we could support the 6th president in his passage to South Africa. However, it is on record, Professor Njovu wrote back to me advising me that this was for my information and not for any support. So the passage was with the full knowledge of the government of the Republic of Zambia, and no officer was given any instruction to stand in the way of the coming of the president. Secondly, efforts were made, again these are on record, to support the president while he was in South Africa. However, with the history and the relationships, this did not come to pass. Now, in accordance with the family's wishes and the dignity befitting the service of the 6th president to our nation, a state funeral shall be held and shall be presided over by the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, culminating in the former president's burial on Monday, 23rd June 2020.
Number 1, that the body of the late President Lungu shall be transported together with the family from Lanseria Airport in South Africa to Zambia on Wednesday, 18th June 2025, using a private charter made available to the family by well-wishers. Secondly, that following the arrival and receipt of the body by family members in Lusaka, full military honors will be conducted at the Kenneth Kaunda International Airport, after which the body shall be taken to the funeral house in Chifwema, where it will lie instead. Thirdly, that the body of the late former president will be taken to Mulungushi International Conference Center on Thursday, 19th June, Friday, 20th June, and Saturday, 21st June, to enable members of the public to pay their last respects from 09 hours to 16 hours, after which it shall be returned on all days to the funeral house in Chifwema to lie instead. That the state funeral that will host foreign dignitaries shall be held at Mulungushi Conference Center on Sunday, 22nd June, and the body of former President Lungu shall be taken to the venue and returned to Chifwema after the event, where it will lie instead. That a valedictory session will be held at the Supreme Court grounds in honor of former President Lungu, a lawyer by profession, on Monday, 23rd June, to be followed by a church service on the same day in the showgrounds in Lusaka, one that would be conducted by His Grace Archbishop Alec Banda. That the body of the late former president shall always lie in state at the funeral house in Chifwema and only be taken away for the above stated functions during the day, after which it shall be returned to the funeral house every day to lie in state at the conclusion of these events. That the body of the late president shall always be accompanied by a relative, the aide-de-camp, and the former president's personal physician. That the period of national mourning shall be extended, and that the two parties shall always consult and agree on who speaks at all events. And further, to avoid the confusion that has been ongoing relating to the Patriotic Front Party, that Honorable Given Lubinda will speak on behalf of the Patriotic Front Party. It is important to emphasize that the family is proceeding based on the guarantees given by the government of the Republic of Zambia that they will not deviate from our agreement or betray the trust of the family and the wishes of the former president. The family